Hello and welcome. It's so good to be here again this month, looking at some good news in this very unsettled world that we're in at the moment. This year, we thought we'd start off differently and better than the previous years we've had under pandemic, but we've already run into lots of trouble already. But we mustn't despair. And this is what the good newspaper is all about. It's about bringing some good news into this bad news world of ours. All of us have stories, don't we? Stuff happens in our lives that affects us in different ways, and we'll try and find a meaning for why that happens, and a way to get through. And faith really helps us to understand what's happening in our world and our lives, and that helps us get through. Faith makes such a difference. Andy, tell us what good news stories you found, please.
Hi, Colin. Well, the March edition is packed with them. One story that caught my eye. The headline is half of UK's young adults both pray and visit church, and an independent survey, not commissioned by the church, just an independent survey, has been done to show that many young people are visiting churches of all denominations and are praying. This is kind of what we tend to think of as being against the trend with church, but it's happening. Young people are seeking God. Young people are looking for answers as they go out into this big bad world in which we live, and we know what a terrible place it can be with all that's going on. Young people are seeking answers. So we have an independent survey that says more than half of young people in the UK regularly pray and visit church. I find that really exciting, because hopefully they'll meet God in praying and in visiting church, and that can be that's obviously life changing. So Colin, what did you spot in the paper?
Yeah, well, I came across this article here. It's about Procol Harum, a very famous band in its day, and their great hit, A Whiter Shade of Pale, is one of the most popular songs ever, apparently. Anyway, this article talks about one of their musicians, Bobby Harrison, and he talks about his life, and a life of two halves. One half was a drug-fueled, crazy life where there was total excess, and a life that he was he felt regret and very unhappy about. But then something happened to him. Life changed, and the second half of his life was so different. He was, rather than focusing on himself, he focused on others, and he just became such a different person. And what was the difference? Well, the difference was Jesus. He found a reason for being with Jesus, and it changed everything for him. And this article is a really wonderful expression there of what Jesus can do in your life, and give you that real meaning that makes a difference. Andy, over to you.
Thanks, Colin. Yeah, I got to interview an author this month. Damien Hine has been writing a series of epic fantasy novels in the tradition of Lord of the Rings and Narnia, and his new world that he's created is called Riza, and it's a world where people live in a great big city behind a brick wall, behind a massive wall, and nobody knows what's beyond that wall until one day a young man decides to break out to go investigating the rest of the world. Damien, who wrote these books, and they're selling incredibly well, they've been amazingly successful, this series of novels, is a Christian. And I spoke to him about this. He said that there are things in the book that parallel his journey to faith, parallel his journey to becoming a Christian. And he says that for him, the real meaning in life, which is what the hero is trying to find in these novels, is to be found in a relationship with God and with Jesus Christ. So great novels, great fun, really epic adventures, but there's a lesson in them as well. And I've really enjoyed reading them. And Damien commends people to read the Bible in our interview and to seek for God as the real answer. Colin.
Thanks, Andy. Yeah, well, the article I found here is about a lady who had a great loss, bereavement, and she turned to psychics for help, trying to get in touch with their lost loved one. And it didn't bring her the peace that she hoped, and she was very unsettled by the whole thing. But basically, this is a story of how she found hope and peace through coming to God. And she says here that she believed in all religions. While still believing in all religions, she began praying only to Jesus and daily read the stories of his life in the Bible. And she soon renounced all other spiritual practices. And And she said Jesus, through prayer, revealed to her the truth, that he is the only way to freedom. And this came to be a reality in her life and made such a difference. It's a great story. And I think so often we can push things away. We can try and not feel the hurt for things that happen, like loss, or like in that Procol Harum story we read. We have issues, and we turn to drugs or something else because we don't want to deal with those issues. But coming to God, he brings that healing. He enables us to get in touch with those real hurts, and to be able to not live a lie, but live in the truth. That's what he says. I am the way, the truth, and the life. Such a liberation. Andy, over to you.
Well, I just want to say, this is the March edition, as we've said, of the Good News newspaper. If you'd like a copy, please get in touch with us via the details at the end of the video. We'd happily send you a free copy. If you go to a church, maybe you'd like to find out more about how you can distribute the Good News newspaper to people in your church and beyond. So again, get in touch and use the paper in and through your church. So thanks, Colin. Great to chat to you this month about the Good News newspaper.
Thank you.